Dirt and dust are not patina. Today on Behind the Gavel with Jason, we're going to be talking about what is patina, when is it appropriate, when is it appropriate to clean something, when is it appropriate to leave it as it is, and what do those things mean as far as value and desirability in the secondary markets. My name is Jason Musk. I'm the owner of the KC Auction and Appraisal Company here in Kansas City, Missouri, and thank you for watching Behind the Gavel with Jason today. We do this every week, and love to talk to you about all kinds of things in regards to the antiques, auction, and estate marketing world. And today's topic, again, is, I'm going to share this on my page real quick, is talking about patina and what that means, what it looks like, and what you should be looking for and thinking about when you're looking at either buying an antique or you're looking at collecting or just looking for more information. Because a lot of times we're just curious as to when we hear something on Antiques Roadshow about patina, what does that mean? So patina is a really challenging thing to define, and it's even more challenging to describe when it's good and or bad and what constitutes it. But essentially, patina is the buildup of, say, dirt and grease and polishes and air over decades or centuries of life and use on an object. And sometimes it makes an object just beautiful, and it just makes it just so desirable because a good patina is impossible to replicate through false means without spending a lot of money. But conversely, dirt does not make patina. And so it's a really challenging thing. So one of the things that we see oftentimes, we get pictures every day from potential clients is, it has this old patina, has this old finish on it. Well, especially in Victorian furniture, we see a lot of people call the dust that is in the nooks and crannies patina. And unfortunately, that is not patina. That's just dust and lack of maintenance and lack of cleaning. And it does not enhance value to have dust or dirt in a piece of furniture. It actually diminishes its value because people cannot just put that in their house. Who wants to put in a piece of furniture that looks dirty? Now, if you have an 18th century tall case clock or chest of drawers that has differences in appearance because of use, that's a different conversation, and that would be an area where you would not want to refinish or clean it too much. But even then, a damp rag, just lightly covering, buffing out and cleaning the area, will make an object look better more often than not, because again, the oils on our hands are not, the furniture was never made to exhibit that. Now, brasses on a chest of drawers are a real challenge. Some people love them to be polished, and they've been polished forever. Other people like that they've never been polished, like that warm tone or even grungy appearance. I would argue that grungy is not good, warm is great. And again, without having examples to show you side by side, it's a hard thing to really describe. But I will tell you, on an Antiques Roadshow, there was a Tiffany inkwell a couple years ago the lady brought in, and the top had been taped down for a long time because they didn't want to lose the insert. And when the tape was removed, it altered the finish. And in that case, the patina was damaged, and there was only two options. One was to polish the metalwork to make it all even, because you couldn't undo what had been done, or you could have it repatinated. With metals, it's a little bit easier. There's processes available, and most people who restore furniture either know how to do it or have access to people who do, and they could have repatinated that top on that inkwell and made it a much more presentable, collectible, and desirable object. But on the glass itself, and we see this regularly, especially with pieces like Tiffany and Stuba and the Aurine finishes, that shiny iridescent glaze. People call that original patina when it's been sitting out and collected dust, just settled on it for 100 years. And the reality is that's not an original patina on that glass. Most of our collectors and dealers that we sell to, even after we have cleaned it, will take and clean it even further. And one of the biggest tricks for re-cleaning old glass like that is to use the glass top stove cleaner. If you have the glass top, stoves at home, you've got that cream that you use to wipe up and clean up the grease and oils. Well, that is perfect to use on antique glassware if it's not painted on. If it's actual, color of the glass and baked into the glass. If it's painted on, that'll take the paint off there, but this is a different, we're not talking about painted surfaces. We're talking about that Orine, that lustrous glaze. Carnival glass has the same thing. It's in the finish. It's not a flashed on. So cleaning with a topical solution like that makes a lot of sense and really enhances the appearance, value, and desirability of that glass. Antique signs are another area where you see this regularly. Porcelain signs are supposed to be radiant and glossy and just shine. Having one sit in a barn, although it's exciting to find, but if it's worn out and the finish is gone, it's not worth as much as one that has that original, that lustrous appearance. And so there are things you can do to make a sign look better. Car wax, car polish is something that we have seen. And there's a huge debate raging in the sign world right now about that very practice of taking a sign and polishing it with a car wax. Does that make the sign better or worse? Most would argue it makes it better. It makes it more valuable than a piece that is just dry and decayed. The thing about patina is oftentimes people mistake patina, maintaining a piece, and patina. Silver was never, ever meant to be black. It's tarnish, it's dirt, and it's a lack of maintenance over decades that causes silver to look black. It's not a mellowing of the silver, it's actually looking black. That's why if you look at all the major silver dealers around the country, every piece they offered is polished to replicate what it looked like new, because that is what was appropriate for that object and asset. Jewelry is the same way. We just saw this great collection of jewelry, and the woman wore the jewelry a lot. Every day she wore several pieces, and she put oil, lotion on her hands, right? So all that lotion got in the jewelry. Well, that's an original finish. That's original patina. She did it. It curated. It came out of her. That's how it came out of her house. She didn't do anything except live with it. Except that that's not how people buy jewelry. And so again, maintenance and cleaning is not a bad thing, depending upon how it looks and makes a piece look itself. Artwork is another area. Paintings. There is absolutely a painting that has been restored correctly is always worth more than a painting that has not. In fact, my wife and I love artwork. We love to buy it for ourselves, and we enjoy hanging in our house. And there are pieces we have in our collection that we couldn't have afforded had they been cleaned prior to us looking at them, or restored prior to us looking at them. We have a painting by Illa Kibbe, which is a Kansas City artist. It's like 36 by 30. It's a big canvas. And the reason we were able to acquire it is because it had a little bit of paint flaking and it was soiled all over. And so we were able to buy it at a price that you would not be able to touch if it had been cleaned and ready to hang in most people's houses. But because of that, we were able to invest in a piece of artwork that we couldn't have otherwise. And that was a colleague of mine was doing an estate sale, and the family didn't want to invest the money into the object for a good reason. It's not a cheap process to have done, and they're not looking for retail value. They're looking to sell it in a quick amount of time frame. But with Stacy and I, at some point, we will have that restored, and it'll be worth more just because we had it restored. And so that is something that you always have to keep in mind when you're looking at an object. Is this how it's supposed to hang in your house? Is this how it's supposed to display in your house? Or is this just lack of maintenance and neglect from a previous owner when you're looking to sell it? Hi, Sherry. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Stacy, as well. If anybody has any questions or comments, please go ahead and post them here. I know Sherry and her and her family own an auction company. They deal mainly in machinery. The same thing holds true with the machinery auction in machinery world. Dirt and grease shows that it ran, but it's certainly not maintained. And so the same things that you look at in vehicles hold true in antiques and artwork. A dirty piece of furniture is a dirty piece of furniture, and you can clean it without damaging the piece of furniture. And more often than not, you're going to be fine with that. And we recommend just using a very light cleaning solution, or maybe just using a damp rag at first to see how much dust and dirt we'll just remove with a damp rag, because oftentimes that's all you need is just going over the crevices, especially on an ornate piece of furniture, with a damp rag or damp towel, and just removing that layer of dust and dirt and grime, and then you'll see the beauty of the wood come through and the beauty of the finish that was there come through. And that's what's so much more important than leaving it unattended and not maintained. And so those are some of the things we see regularly. We're counseling our clients all the time on whether or not they should clean or not, restore or not. Artwork is especially a critical conversation. If artwork is worth less than $5,000, it's probably not worth investing in the cleaning and restoration of a painting to resell immediately. But if you're looking to keep it, it's definitely worth putting that money into now, because you're going to enjoy the benefits of that now and for the short or long term, as long as you own it. And then when you go to sell it, it's already been done. And so you're not investing that money to sell it, you're investing that money to enjoy it. And so those are things that we talk about regularly. When we sold the John Douglas Patrick estate last year, we talked with the client and the family at length about, should we restore, should we not? And we decided in that situation to restore a fair number of pieces, because the collection was so large that we wanted to show what those objects would look like or could look like after restoration, because they were all in similar states of being. And so we chose specific pieces and had them conserved and cleaned and relined by a professional art restorer to give an idea, an example of how these pieces would look after they were conserved by the purchaser. Because very few people were buying those last year to resell. Most people were buying to put into a collection because they were great works, had a great story, and they wanted to know what it was going to look like after that process was done. And we can show, based on the results from that auction, that the items that had been conserved drew more attention and, generally speaking, drew more dollars than those pieces that had not. And so you can really see a correlation in that estate process, in that conserved or not, and the results of both. Some of the times it wasn't worth the investment for that item in particular, but in that conversation, it raised the value of the estate exponentially, because people could see past the dirt and the grime, and they could see, oh, this tear was repaired in this obtaining, and it became virtually indistinguishable going forward. So those are great things to keep in mind as you're out there looking to add to your collections, or if you're thinking about selling or just curious again. And if you have any questions about this topic or others, go ahead and post them here. Send us a direct message through Facebook. You can post on YouTube. You can always drop us an email, info@kcauctioncompany.com, info@letter C, auction company spelled out.com. Or you can give us a call at 816-283-3633. We're happy to answer any of your questions about this topic or others we've talked about in the past. We talk a lot about art, we talk a lot about antiques, auctions, and the market as a whole. Well, thanks, Gary. Glad to see you watching us. Hope you're recovering well. We had a great time at the KCPT Antique Appraisal event a week and a half ago, and we're saddened that you couldn't be there, but hopefully your recovery is going well from your surgery. And again, thank you all so much for watching. Again, patina is great, dirt is bad. Simple as that. Clean the dirt, leave the patina, and you'll be in good shape and good to go. Give us a question, send us questions anytime you have them, and we'll talk to you soon. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend here in Kansas City.